What's good, gamers? My name is Trenticles, and in this video I joined a public SMP and became the most poisoned person on the server. I know that sounds a bit odd, so let me explain. I play on an SMP owned by my friend Last One Down, and recently he hosted a competition to see who can eat the most poisonous potatoes within a month. Seems simple, right? Well, not really. Poisonous potatoes only have a 2% chance to drop each time you harvest a fully grown potato plant. So basically they're a massive pain to get. So I thought it would be a fun little bit for stream to try to farm a bunch of potatoes and win the competition. I figured that no one else was really going to bother to compete and I could just win easily with only a few hours of grinding. I could not have been more wrong. About an hour into stream, another person logged into the server. Sparks Uwus. Okay, I'm sorry, that just can't sound dramatic. I'm just gonna go with Sparks. Sparks had already eaten 10 poisonous potatoes, while I was only at 5. It seemed that for every poisonous potato I ate, Sparks would eat 10 more. I continued farming, turning all of my claimed land into a big potato farm, and I even expanded beyond the area that I had claimed. But Sparks only continued to pull ahead. It turned out that Sparks was using a massive potato farm that had already been created prior to the start of the competition. So they were able to pretty much constantly be harvesting potatoes. At this point, I realized, if I wanted to win this poison potato contest, I would have to treat it not as a poison potato contest, but a poison potato war. I decided to request to teleport to Sparks under the guise of wanting to see the farm they were using, and they were kind enough, or rather, foolish enough, to accept. Wait. Alright. No! Yes! Give me the potatoes! Yes! Yes! War! The 18 poison potatoes I secured from assassinating Sparks was a much needed boost, but it also had some unintended consequences. You see, Sparks Uwus and Lunar Tea Leaf are canonically engaged on the server, so I'm sure you can imagine how Lunar responded to me stabbing his fiancée. So now, I was not only waging poison potato war against one person, but two people, as Lunar began farming potatoes and giving them to Sparks. However, not all hope was lost, for I too had an ally. As it turned out, the massive potato farm that Sparks had been using this whole time was actually owned by Starshine Moon. Star decided to take my side in this war, claiming the farm so that Sparks and Lunar could no longer use it. Star also gave me a generous gift of 21 poisonous potatoes to aid me in my cause. I ended stream that night still a massive ways behind Sparks, but I continued to farm off stream for the next couple days. But as Sparks continued to remain way ahead of me, I started to realize that I was fighting a losing battle. How was I supposed to outgrind two people who both have more free time than me? So I decided to stop. At this point, Sparks was still ahead of me by about 50 poisonous potatoes, so I knew that I had no hope of catching up. But as I sat alone pondering defeat, I realized something. Wars are not won through sheer manpower. They are won through intelligence, innovation, and efficient use of resources. This whole time, I had been trying to beat Sparks at their own game. If I wanted to win, I had to play my game. With renewed vigor, I went back to the drawing board to devise a new plan. I needed a way to farm potatoes so efficiently that any manual farm would become obsolete. So I created the machine. This contraption uses a piston, observers, and dispensers to move a block of farmland back and forth and spam bone meal onto whatever I plant. So all I had to do was hold right click and the potatoes would instantly be fully bone mealed and then harvested. This machine was capable of producing several poisonous potatoes every minute. The only problem was that I needed a lot of bone meal. Like, a lot of bone meal. Considering the amount of bone meal I needed, hunting skeletons simply wasn't going to cut it. The solution was actually a block, one that is largely ignored by most players, the bone block. Since I had previously used bone blocks in one of my builds, I knew that they can be crafted out of 9 bone meal, and this process is reversible, meaning a bone block can also be crafted into 9 bone meal. and there just so happens to be a biome with a lot of bone blocks, the Soul Valley in the Nether. So I grabbed my pickaxe and elytra and ventured into the Nether. Before long, I was able to fill an entire shulker box with bone blocks. So then I returned to the machine and started farming. However, by this point, Sparks and Lunar were already under the impression that I had given up, and I realized that it was to my advantage to keep it this way. So instead of eating the poisonous potatoes, I stored them away in a hidden chest. During my next stream, I played into this illusion further by removing my entire potato farm so that no one would suspect I was still trying to win the war. My plan seemed to be working as Sparks stopped at 123 poisonous potatoes eaten, and so I continued to build up my stash in secret until the final day of the contest. Well, it's almost 2 hours later. Neon Halo is still on the server, but I really need to get on and get this done because Lunar's gonna start streaming in like an hour and a half, and then there will be no stealth at that point. So we just gotta hope that Neon doesn't snitch. Wait, did he say, was he talking to himself? We don't know. He might have been talking to himself. We don't know. He could have been talking to himself. You never know. He could have been talking to himself. Alright, so that's pretty much the last of the bone meal that I have. And there we go. There's all the poisonous potatoes that I've been storing up, that I've been saving up for this moment. And the last poisonous potato. 189 poisonous potatoes eaten. The last step is to log out so no one notices. I logged off that day having eaten a total of 189 poisonous potatoes, and Sparks had no idea. The next day, Lod announced the winner in his Discord server. So I logged in to accept my reward.
Say congratulations.
There's literally one other person online.
To Trentacles.
That's not good. Alright, we're getting the prize. We're getting the prize, boys.
His okay. Ah!
Yeah.
Lunar left. I made Lunar mad. There we go.
Yes, the bad potato loot crate. Let's do this. Yo! We got so many baked potatoes. Enchanted golden apples. Normal golden apples, but enchanted golden apples. That's so OP. That is so OP. That is... Bro, I literally was just doing this just to win. I got freaking god apples out of this. Are you kidding me? I got freaking god apples out of this? Bro, these are the only two that I have. These are going straight into my ender chest. Get out of the way, pig step. God apples are taking your place in the center spot. Let's go. And then we have the Bad Diet Trophy. Winner of the Bad Potato competition, Trentacles. Thus, with blood on my hands and poison in my veins, I had finally achieved my goal.